Yo, yo, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast. Your good brothers M.Dot and Chris Porter here. Your boy Chris Porter, my good brother M.Dot on the other side. Welcoming y'all to episode 8 of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast. What's going on, bro? How you feeling today? This
Good,
evening?
bro. I'm good. I appreciate you always with a lovely introduction, like always. I'm doing well, bro. Can't complain. Definitely excited for Christmas coming up. Gonna celebrate with that with the fam. Everything's so expensive this year, man. It feels like everything is much more expensive than last year. Like it's coming down to the wire getting these gifts, but it is what it is. You gotta make sacrifices. But what about you,
Amen.
bro?
Man, it's kind of crazy it's a different year for me this year, man. Everything is different for me this year, so I ain't even really feeling real Christmassy. If I'm keeping it 1,000 with the listeners,
Yeah.
I hope y'all don't judge me for that. I ain't feeling real Christmassy. I still haven't even gotten a tree yet. Debating if I even want to at
Yeah,
this
bro.
point. But I probably still will get a tree just because you know what I mean. I need to get that energy in my ecosphere. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I ain't really feeling real holiday right now. Um, but everything is looking positive for me. I'm feeling
Okay.
good. Everything is going how I need it to go right now. So I ain't really too much tripping, and I'll get there in terms of the holiday spirit.
Okay. That's good, bro. That's good. You'll definitely get there. You always bounce back from whatever negativity is plaguing you. Positivity is gonna come your way.
Not even no negativity. Not even no negativity. Just like, sometimes certain things that get you in that holiday spirit, and some years it don't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of them things like it is what it is. You know what I mean? I love to see all the decorations and I love to see, all the family portraits and stuff like that. It's dope to see and it's beautiful to see. It's just not where I'm at right now.
Okay. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Nothing wrong
For
with that.
sure.
So, audience, we got a lovely, exciting episode this week. We're gonna be talking about Cowboys and Eagles. Cowboys getting a beautiful victory over the Eagles. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about
I'm gonna
Hunter
hold us down,
Biden.
Eagles fans. I'm gonna hold us down.
Yeah, no, you're not. It's gonna talk about Hunter Biden and him not showing up for his congressional subpoena hearing, which just happened a couple days ago. He did not show up, so now the Congress is gonna form an inquiry on him. So we're gonna talk about that. Then we're gonna discuss the Lakers winning the in-season tournament, which is the first of the year.
The
How they
inaugural in-season tournament.
inaugural in-season tournament. We're going to talk about a little bit about that, positives and negatives of it. And then lastly, we're going to talk about one of Chris and I's favorite things to discuss, something that we grew up with, and it's called wrestling. Wrestling, wherever you grew up. Wrestling. And I'm not talking about NCAA or Olympic wrestling. I'm talking about WWE, NXT, TNA, AEW, Ring of Honor. We're talking about that type of wrestling. So we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about who we think the greats are, who we think the best tag teams are, who we think the best people on the mic are, who we think the best in-ring performers are. We're going to give our takes, and we're going to talk about how we fell in love with the game of wrestling. All right? So let's start off. Let's start off with the Cowboys and Eagles. Okay, I got some notes here, and I don't know how Chris is going to defend them because there's no way he can. But we'll talk about Cowboys and Eagles. So Cowboys and Eagles game. Cowboys came around with the victory, 33-13. Dak Prescott was 24 for 39, had 271 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 18 for 27, 197 yards, no touchdown. DeAndre Swift, Eagles running back, 11 carries for 39 yards. Tony Pollard, 16 carries, 59 yards. Cowboys running back. Jake Ferguson, Big Jake. People already calling him Baby Kelsey at this moment. He had 5 for 72 yards, hurdled over an Eagles defender like it was nobody's business. And he said he was going to do it, and he did it. All right, CeeDee Lamb, Big CD, 6 for 71 yards. A.J. Brown, 9 for 94 yards. Devonta Smith, 5 for 73 yards. And I just want to give a highlight to the Cowboys defense. Stephon Gilmore, 9 tackles and 1 forced fumble. That's amazing statistics for a cornerback. Micah Parsons, 2 tackles and 1 sack. So I just want to highlight those individuals. Now get to the nitty gritty of the game, and then I'll let Chris speak. Masterful performance by the Cowboys. I didn't even expect it because the last week when we talked about it, what did I say, Chris? I said it's either going to be a defensive game, low scoring.
You played the humble card. You played the humble card.
Or it was going to be a shot for shot Jalen and Dak battling because we have a similar receiving core when it comes to either one of those receivers can go over 100 yards. It is what it is. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect Dak to come out unfazed, unscathed, throwing dimes, hitting Jake Ferguson, hitting CD, Brandon Cooks, utilizing every receiver. That's the Dak that I want. But I sure as heck didn't expect Jalen Hurts to shit the bed. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a fight to him. I didn't really expect that. Y'all running game, I thought it was going to be a little bit more powerful, a little bit more pungent. Didn't really see a lot, but I think our defense kind of kept you guys in check with that. The only positive I can say about the Eagles in that game, I think A.J. Brown is y'all bread and butter, and I think you guys need to utilize him to the highest extent. Y'all running game, y'all going to have to do some revisiting on it when it comes to whether you're going to focus on more of a read option, focus on using DeAndre Swift a little bit more. I don't know, but y'all going to have to figure it out. Ever since y'all lost to the 49ers, I don't know what's been going on with you guys.
I mean, listen, man. I'm gonna interject now because I'm a little sick of hearing all this. I can't take no more of it. Respect. What can I say? It was a lopsided loss on the part of us. It's very disappointing. It's one of them games as an Eagles fan that I don't make it all the way through. I'm not gonna lie, sit up here and act like I watched 4 quarters of that game. It was the writing was on the wall. It was what it was, man. At the end of the day. If we being truthful though, like if we just being completely transparent, like I can appreciate you taking the humble stance and not anticipating a blowout or a lopsided W because it's the NFL and like you said, it should have been way more competitive. Unfortunately, if I'm just being a objective fan, which I try to be because I can be on this mic today, it wasn't hard to see, man. We've been struggling for a while, and fortunately for us, we always found ourselves in a position to keep ourselves in the games that we struggled in, whether it had been a slow start or teams coming back. A lot of it has been a lot of slow starts over the past few weeks, and that's something that the Eagles got to get figured out. Like you said, we're not used to being a team that can't run the football, and for whatever reason right now, we can't run the ball. It doesn't really make the most sense because we got a very, very good offensive line, but for whatever reason, they can't hold their blocks or they're not holding their blocks. I don't know if the running backs aren't seeing the holes. DeAndre Swift is a hell of a back. DeAndre Swift was in the top 5 in rushing for most of this season. So, for us to have struggled the way we've been running the football over the last few weeks or so is very alarming. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend to you that it's not. Our defense has been an issue all year, and I think most people who watch the games know that the back end of our defense has struggled. The problem is when you don't get a pass rush or when you can't rush the quarterback, that gives the opportunity for the quarterback to sit back there and pick apart that secondary that's already been struggling. And for whatever reason, the Eagles sack numbers is down this year as well. So like we're not getting to the quarterback as much as we're used to. So it's 2 aspects of our team that we're accustomed to playing up to a certain standard that aren't right now. That's our offensive line and our defensive line. You're right about our quarterback, man. Simple as that, man. You gotta games like that when first place is on the line, you gotta show up and you gotta will your team out there, man. You're the leader of that team, and you gotta be the reason that they going out there playing hard. I don't know if it's injury related. I think it's well documented that he's suffering from something right now in terms of his legs, which is why he isn't running as effectively as we're used to. With that being said, though, he got out there and he ran the ball, and then you put the ball on the ground. If you're gonna be running the football, you cannot be putting the ball on the ground, especially not in the red zone. Not when you got a drive like that going, and points is at a premium in this game. You need every single point. You cannot be turning the football over in the red zone. That's something that we struggle with this season in terms of his turnover numbers. It's way higher than what we're used to over the past couple seasons. So, I don't know, man. We got a big game coming up in Seattle this weekend or this Monday. We got to bounce back, man. We got to bounce back. And listen, y'all can do all that, man. Listen, I love it when y'all do all that because this is what y'all do. This is what y'all do every year. You get so excited for this week what? Week 14 game for, this week 15 game, and it's still so much season left to play. Y'all ain't won nothing yet. Like, I could see if y'all swept us this
nobody
year.
said
I could
nobody
no,
said
y'all.
any of that.
Hey, listen, but that's
See,
how
this is
y'all
the,
act.
see, this is the
Yo,
problem.
this is how y'all.
See,
That's how y'all act.
This
Y'all
is the
act
problem.
like
This is the
y'all
problem.
won something.
This is the problem.
We
This is the
split the
problem.
season series.
This
We
the
beat
problem.
y'all in Philly. Y'all beat us in Dallas. We still got
Nobody's
4
denying
games
that.
left to play.
Nobody's
We still got
denying
4
that.
games left to play. Who y'all got to play
Nobody's
left?
denying.
Who y'all got to play left?
We actually got a harder schedule than y'all last 4. We got
Oh,
Buffalo. We got
there you go. So let's see
got
how the rest of the
Dolphins.
season
We
play
got
out.
I forget who else we got. But listen, nobody's discounting that. I'm not saying the season. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is the last game that we played was a very closer game, which I thought was going to be similar to this game.
I agree.
Like I said before, I wasn't expecting that. But I'm just excited that the Cowboys got the W. And what I am also excited for, a lot of Eagles fans were quiet. And I wanted that to happen because you guys were getting too excited as well. You guys were getting.
Hold on. Let's not act like y'all wasn't quiet. Let's not act like y'all didn't have a little mouse peep a couple weeks ago. Why we doing that? Why y'all do that? Because we don't throw that in y'all face. You got it.
Let me finish. Because all on my Facebook, all on my Instagram, what did I see? Eagles fan after another Eagles fan talking, saying this, saying that. But as soon as this is the problem. As soon as the loss happens, no one wants to say nothing. That's the problem that I have with Eagles fans. That's the problem. You are different. I will give you that. You're a little bit different. But as soon as the L happens, quiet. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to point out the flaws. No one wants to take accountability. But as soon as the W is, oh, we're the greatest team. Oh, this, that, and the third. When the L happens, no one wants to point out the flaws. I had a conversation with an Eagles fan today. She said to me, "Oh, yeah, y'all, how much did y'all pay the ref?" Excuse me? We got turnovers on y'all. What are you talking about? We forced y'all to turn the ball over. Y'all didn't score a touchdown. How you gonna say it's penalties? We got penalties called on us. What are you? It wasn't
a referee thing.
It was even. So that's the delusion that I'm talking about.
Nah, but that's not a Eagles fan whose opinion I'm even taking stock into. I'm talking about, first off, I'm talking about, like, okay, like, yeah, of course during a loss we're not going to be bragging and boasting when we just lost by double digits.
It's not about the. I'm not saying the bragging and boasting.
Though, yo, every time we do it to y'all, it's the same thing in return.
I'm not saying.
It's not like y'all quick to point out the flaws, or y'all quick.
I'm not saying.
Y'all do that referee game stuff. Y'all the ones who say, "Yo,
I'm not saying bragging and boasting."
That Eagles fan sound like she a closet Cowboys fan, or she been listening to y'all too much.
Look, I'm not talking about bragging and boasting. What I am talking about, what I want to see is if you're doing all this talking before the game and y'all got the loss, I would like for Eagles fans, when the loss happens, just like Cowboys fans, we can say, "Damn, it was that. Damn, it was this. It was that." Y'all need to say it too. No, I have never seen an Eagles fan.
Who got a problem with saying that?
I'm not saying you, bro. I'm not attacking you. I'm saying in general, what I've seen on my Facebook and Instagram. Nobody wants to come out and talk about, damn, Jalen, our defense, man, we gotta do better. Everybody want to say, this is exactly what Eagles fans were saying on Facebook. Oh, yeah, Cowboys fans are happy now. They got that W. They need to focus on winning the next 4. That's fine. But you're not addressing what your team did. You're not but you're not addressing what your team did. Focus on your team and how your team need to improve. Man, don't attribute your losses and talk about Cowboys this, Cowboys that. Bro, focus on Jalen Hurts. Focus on
No
AJ Brown.
doubt.
Focus on Devonta Smith.
Two things can be true.
Focus on your Eagles. Focus on your Eagles.
Two things can be true.
Don't. Shout out to the good old beer. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the stuff that gets me a little mad because everybody wants to be excited. And to me personally, I only talk when all the Eagles fans wants to start talking. Everybody want to. That's when I'll talk. I do not talk every week. You know I don't talk every week. I've only talked about this game because I knew it was a pivotal game for the Cowboys. Like, if we would have lost this, I would have been like, all right, cool. You know, the season might not be where it needs to be because y'all beat us 2-0 on this one. But we won. Cool. Now we're gonna look forward to playing Buffalo. We beat Buffalo. We got our playoff spot. But I don't like all that talking about this, that, and the third, and then as soon as the Cowboys win, all the Eagles fans don't know what happened. Oh, it was the referee. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh. Like, what are you talking about, man? Just take accountability.
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I would love to have a conversation with an Eagles fan that blame the referee so I can enlighten them because they sound like they want to know the truth, but they just don't understand the game, which is it happens if you're new to football. You might not understand the game. I'm not gonna blame nothing on no referees. They just need enlightenment. They just need to be schooled on how the game works. But it is what it is.
If you look at the game, go ahead, bro. Finish it now. Say something.
I was gonna say if you talk to any reasonable fan or anybody who knows the game or watch the game, like I said, like, you know, we're going to take accountability for what it was. We didn't play up to the standard. I think when the team is even saying that, like, you got to go off of what the team is saying. The team is even admitting to not playing up to the standard. And so, like, when you don't play up to the standard or you're not, you know, you're not doing what you need to do, what you've done throughout the entirety of this season. Because we're not going to sit up here and act like the Eagles is a bad team because they lost 2 games. Like,
no, nobody said that. I never said that.
Their record is 10-3. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they got the same record. We left the game with the same record. You know what I mean? And so it's like they got stuff to work on. Like, defensively, we got a lot of stuff that we need to clean up. Like, I don't know if it can be cleaned up in a season. I don't know if it's the personnel that we have or if it's the scheming and the coaching, but something got to get switched up in there. But like at the end of the day, I mean, it's one game. It's one game. We 10-3 now. We still got 4 games left to play. It's still almost a quarter of the season left to play. So you know, you take your licks, you get back up, and you know what I mean.
And then keep it a bean, right? And then keep it a bean. That's why sometimes I get mad. I don't respond in the group chat too because some of y'all in that group chat. As soon as the Cowboys lose, yo, Matt, what's going on, bro? You good? Blah blah blah. But as soon as the Eagles lose, I don't hear nothing. I don't hear. Nobody says a thing. But as soon as the Cowboys lose,
you see me, I'll text throughout the game and say, yo, we getting smacked right now. Like, yo, we getting punished. Like, we get like it's getting bad. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, like I don't understand it, bro. Like I don't care when the Eagles lose like that. I'm not gonna say in the group chat, yo, what happened? It's not. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the Cowboys.
But you know why that is though. People come at Cowboys fans because of how Cowboys fans carry themselves. Like, I wouldn't say nothing to a Cowboys fan if I didn't hear all off season about how good the Cowboys is going to be. I wouldn't care nothing about what y'all be doing.
Who said that though? I never said that.
Man, you're not the only Cowboys fan in the world. You're not the only Cowboys fan out here. So listen, but you fall in line with the rest of them. Like, you hear it from so many different annoying people that it's like, man, you know what?
That's how I feel about Eagles fans.
Well, you live in the Northeast tri-state area, so like, of course you're gonna be surrounded by Eagles fans. Like, you surrounded by us.
I need to move to Texas because this is crazy. I can't even be in my office at work without being accosted by an Eagles fan. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like I had a train. I was in a training. I was like, yeah, I told everybody I'm an avid Dallas Cowboys fan. And all the Eagles fans was quiet. Because they already knew. Y'all just lost. You need to be quiet. You need to go ahead and be quiet
man.
now.
Hey,
be quiet now.
Yo, it's no reason to be quiet. I'm still gonna pop it. It's not like
I'm not talking about you, bro.
No,
I'm talking about the cats
listen,
at my
I'm
job,
telling
bro.
all the cats at your job that's watching this, pop your stuff, man. Don't have these Cowboys fans have you sitting on humble pie for a whole week.
Yeah, I am.
That loss was on Sunday. That loss was last week, man. It is what it is. It happened.
I am.
It's not like they swept us for the season. We split the season series. 9 times out of 10, if we want to get to where we going, we might have to run into them again. It's all good. 9 times out of 10, it might be back at the link, depending on how these next 4 games work out. So listen, ain't no reason to sit around on your like. Don't put them on no pedestal. We still here.
And look,
we still got a job to do.
And you need to tell your receivers not to call our cornerbacks old. I don't know why he would do that. Why would he say that to a cornerback?
He still almost went for $1. He still almost went for 100.
Bro, he forced him to fumble. What are you talking about?
Hey, listen. They gotta play better.
He could have went for 300 yards, bro.
They gotta play. Listen, you shouted out their numbers. You gave them their props on their numbers. They gotta play better. Plain and simple. I need AJ Brown to play better. I need Devontae Smith to play better. They get paid crazy money. Devontae Smith is a first-round pick. I need Quez Watkins to play better. I need Jalen Hurts to play better. I need my offensive line to play better. Like I'm none of it was good. None of it was good, offensively or defensively. It was a no-show, plain and simple. It was a no-show, and that should never happen. That should never happen. Under no circumstances should there be a no-show in the biggest game of the season. We thought last week was a big game. That was a big game because it was at home. But this was the biggest game of the season right here. Win this game, and you almost certainly lock up the division. You definitely lock up a playoff spot, but you almost certainly lock up the division. Now you don't hold your own destiny in your hands. We need some help now. We're gonna need some help. But listen, I do think that y'all gonna lose another game, so it is what it is. Like I that's gonna happen. Y'all got Buffalo this week. You said y'all play Miami too. Listen, I expect y'all to lose another game this season. It is what it is. That being said, I don't expect the Eagles to lose another game this season. I don't. I'm just being honest with you. I think we go into Seattle and we beat Seattle, and then we got New York, and we got New York and Arizona.
Okay, all right. Shout out to Tommy DeVito. He's been balling.
Okay.
But I do want to shout out the Cowboys kicker. I don't know where we found this man from, but that dude is like, I think he's like 30 for 30. 30 for 30 right now. So he's 100% right now. So, you know, good job on getting him where they got him. The former soccer player, they got him. Great job. Great job on the scouting. Great job, Jerry Jones. You're the president, owner, GM. You do everything. Great job on that. All right, so let's transition. Talk about the... Oh, bro, take a deep breath, bro. Take a deep breath. We're going into politics now. No more Cowboys
kickers, man.
Yo, bro, he's nice, bro. You can't say he's not. He's nice. All right. So let's transition. We're going to talk about Hunter Biden. So for those of you who don't know, Hunter Biden is President Biden's son. I think he's his youngest son or his oldest son. But he has another son, Bo Biden, who passed away. He had brain cancer. He was in the military. But Hunter Biden was in the military as well, but I think he got dishonorably discharged. But all right, moving forward, you know, we're talking about Hunter Biden, and he failed to show up to a congressional subpoena. It's all over the news. Hunter Biden not showing up for a congressional subpoena to address some things that have been going on within his life and how he's been mismanaging funds and just everything in general when it comes to what he's been doing as his father's been in the presidency. You know, there's a lot of questionable things with mismanaging money, mismanaging time, a lot of questionable things. So I got a couple key points from an article I got from AP News. So just gonna go over a couple of the key points that I have. All right, and then I'll get Chris's reaction to it. Hunter Biden refused to comply with congressional subpoena for a private deposition, which is a deposition is when they just want you to talk about whatever they're questioning you about. All right, on his business dealings before Republican investigators, insisting on testifying only in public. So the reason why he refused is because he wanted this to be a public hearing. He didn't want it to be something behind closed doors. He wanted the public to know about it, to hear what was going on. I mean, I get the reasoning, but then I don't get the reasoning, right? All right, next point, and then I'll get Chris to react to all this. Hunter Biden criticized the closed door testimony, expressing concerns that information from private interviews could be selectively leaked and manipulated. I mean, does he have a point on that? Do you agree with that point?
I do, actually.
Okay. Why do you agree with that?
We see it all the time. We see depositions get leaked every day. President Trump's deposition got leaked. So we see it in commonplace where somehow these news outlets are able to obtain these private depositions, where these depositions that aren't meant to go public end up going public. Who was the other guy whose deposition just went public recently? Um I'm blanking on his name. It was one of the guys involved in the Trump RICO stuff. Maybe
Okay.
Mark Meadows. I think it might have been Mark Meadows' deposition that got
Okay.
that leaked. But so again, it's commonplace for it to leak, and if that's going to be the case, then why not do it publicly? Why not if it's going to be something that ultimately ends up coming out publicly anyway through different leaks and different sources, then why not go about it publicly? Why not do it in a public forum?
Okay. So you're agreeing with doing it in public. All right. GOP Representative James Comer and Representative Jim Jordan announced their intention to explore contempt of Congress proceedings in response to Hunter Biden's lack of cooperation. So, do you think he should have just not showed up, or you think he should have showed up and just been like, "Yo, I'm okay with doing the deposition, but I'd rather hold it in a public forum," because he didn't show up at all. He didn't he didn't even come.
Well, the people who are looking to look for a contempt of Congress inquiry did the exact same thing. Jim Jordan did the exact same thing with the January 6th Congressional Committee. So he, it's almost like the pot calling the kettle black if you're going to look for a
Right.
contempt of Congress, because you did the exact same thing by not by defying your subpoena. He was subpoenaed to testify as well and defied that subpoena. So I
Okay.
mean, I don't think that. I mean, I think he made his intentions clear. He made it clear that he wasn't intending to do anything in private. Not that he, I don't know if necessarily he has the right, because obviously when you do that, they then have the right to inquire about contempt of Congress, and so he's going to have to deal with whatever comes with that. But like, I think that he made his stance pretty clear that he has no issue with testifying publicly. He just would be opposed to doing it privately. So
Okay.
it's almost, I don't know if it's kind of trying to twist Congress's arm or trying to twist the House's arm to get him to, or to get them to acquiesce to what he's kind of almost demanding in a sort of way. But like, he's made it abundantly clear what he's willing to and what he's not willing to do.
Okay. Got you. All right. Republicans have been pursuing an impeachment inquiry to link President Joe Biden to his son's business deals, but so far no direct evidence implicating the elder Biden has been uncovered. So they're just trying to get some type of information, some type of evidence that kind of correlates to, Biden's campaign, Biden as presidency to running with his business deal. So, I mean, if they don't find any evidence, they don't find any evidence. Then move on. Let it be how it's going to be. I mean, if they don't find any evidence, all right, then stop pursuing the guy. Let him keep doing crack and messing with $10 hookers. I mean, let him live his life. Yeah.
The problem is that they're, from what I read anyway, they had already they have voted to approve the impeachment inquiry without the
Right.
evidence. So how do you go forward with an impeachment inquiry if you don't have the evidence to suggest that impeachment is necessary? They're saying that they're still looking
Wow.
for evidence, like they're still trying to find the evidence
Yeah.
to link these things, these allegations that they're making, but to my knowledge, you're supposed to go forward with impeachment when you do have the evidence, not to go still investigating for the evidence.
Yeah.
So that's where it don't
I
make
mean,
sense to me.
that's similar to that's very similar to like the Andrew Tate thing. Even though this is international law we're talking about, but it's similar to his situation because they're getting him on human trafficking, but they don't have any evidence to kind of link him or charge him. So it's like everything's still in the pre-trial, pre-hearing, pre-hearing setting. So they're still investigating, and it's something that with Romania it could take up to years until they have enough evidence to charge him, or they just release him, which they've released him and he's not on house arrest no more, but he's still involved in the Romanian criminal justice system because they still investigating to figure out, all right, we need to find some shred of evidence that links him to this type of stuff. So kind of similar in that retrospect.
Okay.
All right. So the White House dismissed the process as a partisan smear campaign by Republicans, emphasizing that members of their own party have admitted that there is no evidence to support impeaching President Biden. So, I mean, I want to know who those Republicans were, because the Republican Party is very divisive. You got a lot of Republicans that's Republican, but they talk like Democrats. So I really would like to know who are those Republicans that are saying that. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't know the evidence. I don't know anything. I really do want to know what happened to that whole case with Hunter Biden with the weapon and everything like that. Whatever happened to that? Like I don't even know what happened with that.
I think it's still ongoing.
I really would like to know. I really would like to know what's going on with that, because that's, if this guy was a regular Joe Schmo, he'd be in prison already. He'd be in prison.
Based on what? We just talked about innocent until proven guilty on the last episode. So what has he been found guilty of up to this point? I'm saying, even with the gun, he almost pled out for a misdemeanor until they found it, or whoever it was. I can't remember who was that wasn't satisfied with the plea agreement that was in place. So what would he be in prison for at this point?
So no, I'm saying if he was a regular person, he probably on gun charges. He'd probably be sitting in prison right now because he probably wouldn't have been able to post bail. That's what I mean by that. I'm not saying he'd be convicted. I'm saying he'd probably be sitting on a bond or a bail, sitting in prison, waiting for his time in court.
Where was the gun charge? It was in Delaware, or is it Delaware? A federal gun charge?
Yeah, because I think it's out of the federal court, the United States District Court in Delaware. So it's a federal case. It's a federal case. No, it's not a Delaware case. It's a federal case. All right. Hunter Biden is... Oh, here we go. This is what they're talking about this now. Hunter Biden is currently facing criminal charges in 2 states, including firearm counts in Delaware and allegations of failing to pay about $1.4 million in taxes over a 3-year period. The House authorized the impeachment inquiry, with Republicans hoping the formal vote would strengthen their legal standing to enforce subpoenas to Hunter Biden and other family members. Democrats and the White House defended the administration's cooperation, highlighting the availability of witnesses and a significant volume of documents for the investigation. So, how do you feel about all this, man?
I mean, it sounds like he's still got some cases going on. I mean, it sounds like he's still got a lot to get cleared up. I don't know. I mean, what's there to feel about it? I mean, he I don't know. I don't think that he would necessarily be in jail if he were a regular guy right now. I mean, you would hope that he would be able to get some sort of bond agreement, but like, I don't know. What do you think about it?
I mean, I would really I thought that they would already have taken care of all this stuff with the guns and everything like that. I'm hoping they get that squared away, because I'd like to see justice served. Because if it's something with firearms, and not paying taxes, if I was a regular Joe Schmo and I didn't pay over $1 million of taxes, I'd definitely be arrested for that and taken to court and getting all that squared away. So I would like to see this get squared away, innocent or guilty. There's something called due process. I'd like this to be taken care of in a orderly fashion, like not waiting 3 to 4, 6 months, 10 months, 12. Like, get this shit done. Get it done and over with. The public want to know, is he going to be convicted or not? Stop playing games. Whatever. I mean, what was the plea agreement? Why was the plea agreement not agreed upon? Why did the judge pull out of the plea agreement? Like, there's all these questions that need to be answered. And what's taking so long now? Because if you're talking about they already agreed to a plea agreement, bro, plea agreement, sign the paperwork, you plead out to whatever it was, whether misdemeanor or whatever it is, you're done. What's taking so now? They're gonna go to trial now Because if there's no plea agreement, then it has to go to trial. It has to go to trial.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a trial date set, to my knowledge, anyway. Again, if the listeners, if you guys got some information, please correct this. But to my knowledge, I don't think there's a trial set for any of his cases, really. Um, so listen, on the tax stuff, we see. I mean, I understand that there shouldn't be any preferential treatment under the law, but we can't act like we don't see celebrities and people of higher statures go through these tax problems all the time. Um, they might not always have to sit down. Sometimes, a lot of times they do, and I think ultimately, truth be told, when it comes down to that, I think uh once that does get litigated, he may still end up having to sit down. I don't think that's something that's
Yeah.
avoidable, unless he's got a hell of a lawyer that can work out a significant plea agreement for him. Then 9 times out of 10 he may end up having to sit down on the tax stuff, on the gun stuff. A lot of times you can get off on some sort of federal probation or some sort
Yeah.
of some sort of like suspended sentence type of thing, to where you sentenced to 10 years suspended sentence, something like that. So like, um, I don't necessarily think that he would be sitting down on a gun charge, especially if he doesn't have a violent background. He doesn't have any previous gun offenses in his background. So, um, that in itself will probably get taken care of. But I don't disagree with you on the due process part. Like, ultimately, you would like to see it get worked out sooner rather than later, as opposed to getting dragged along. Um, I don't like that even. I don't like that it feels like Hunter Biden gets used as a political pawn, and that makes
Right.
me uncomfortable, because um, if you're just looking for it for the sake of justice, or for the sake of um upholding the law, then I'm all good with that. But if you're doing it just to try and get at Joe Biden, and there's nothing there, and it's been shown, or it's been seen that in terms of what they're trying to do with Joe Biden, that it's not anything there, then it just makes me uncomfortable. I don't like the way that Republicans are putting him in the spotlight like this, because I don't know if his name wasn't Biden, if this would get this much attention. I don't think that this would
Probably.
be
I mean,
plastered all over the place.
probably
And
not. But there's. I mean, there's evidence of him doing risque behavior. Which risque, what I mean by, is like doing drugs, smoking crack, being with ladies, spending millions and millions of dollars on OnlyFans and hookers and all that. So there's that type of
is
evidence
that a
out there. But I get
crime
what you.
though?
No, it's not. But I get what I mean. Purchasing legal prostitution is illegal. That's not illegal.
Certain
Doing crack
states.
cocaine is illegal. Is illegal. Not legal.
I mean, doing drugs is always going to be illegal. So from that
Yeah. I
standpoint, for
mean,
sure. But he's
but
owned
that's a
up to
bit.
his
Those are
addiction. He's owned
yeah.
up to his
Those are.
addiction.
No, but those are
Good.
victimless crimes, so they don't really have anybody that's
Right.
that's going to be harmed from that. But it is what it is. And I can say thank you to the that we have the agreements upon. We want this to get squared away and get done. And yeah, and I appreciate your thought on you know him being used as a political pawn to get to his father, because at the end of the day, if this was vice versa and this was Don Jr. or somebody, Republicans would be very upset, highly upset, if they were trying to use Donald Trump's son to get to him for anything like that. So I kind of see the the issue with that.
Especially
You got
being as though
anything
he's
up?
not trying to be involved in, like, I don't think Hunter Biden is trying to be involved in his dad's politics. I think Don
I mean, I
Jr.
don't.
for like I think Don Jr. was a little bit more active in
Oh yeah,
President Trump's actual day to days, or just his incorporation or his organization, period. Whereas I don't necessarily think that Hunter is trying to be like actively involved in anything that his dad has going on politically. He's not trying to be a part of the Biden campaign or on the Biden staff. He lives a completely separate life, under all indications. You know what I mean?
yeah, as a businessman. Yeah, I agree with you. All right. Okay. All right. Moving on. All right, bro. I'll let you touch on this. We're gonna talk about the Lakers winning the in-season tournament. Tournament. I can't speak today. Tournament. Inaugural season. So I'll let Chris touch on that.
I mean, not much to be said. December 9th, Saturday, December 9th, the Lakers played the Indiana Pacers in the championship round of the inaugural NBA in-season tournament. Excuse me. Ultimately winning 123 to 109 against the Pacers. You got LeBron going for 24 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. The big night came
Oh
from
wow.
Anthony Davis, who had 41 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 assists on 16 of 24 shooting, 9 of 13 from the free throw line with 4 blocks and 4 turnovers. Um, you had Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers, who had 20 points, 1 rebound, and 11 assists. Um, Overall, the Pacers, who have been a pretty surprising story this season, they've been off to a really good start this season. Just didn't have enough to keep up with the Lakers in the final round of the in-season tournament. So um, the Lakers end up walking away with the first in-season tournament trophy. LeBron ended up winning MVP of the tournament. So it brought a little bit of what do I say? A little bit of excitement to the beginning of the season this season, having this in-season tournament. I think a lot of the from everything that I read, a lot of the players were really excited or really looking forward to adding some competitiveness to the regular season. A lot of the past few years, we've noticed the lack of competition or a lack of competitiveness in the early onset of the regular season. We had a lot of load management over the past few years that had been becoming an issue, and so this just gave a little bit of extra motivation for the players to go out there and compete at the highest level, night in and night out. Um, the tournament record also encompassed the regular season record. So your tournament record does factor into your regular season record. So every game was still of the utmost importance because it went towards your win-loss record for the season.
Wow.
So it was a very cool concept. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I was hoping that the Sixers did better in it, but that's neither here nor there. And so I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing them expand on it. Hopefully, we get it back next season. A lot of times, the NBA experiment with something for a season or two, and then kind of abandon it.
Yeah.
They did that with the All Star Game format with the Kobe stuff a few years ago. They played with it for a few years and then abandoned it. Did it with drafting in the All Star Game. So um, like I said, I'm looking forward to hopefully having an in-season tournament around for a little while, just so we can keep some fun going in the regular season. If you're a season ticket holder like myself, you hope that every night that you get the best performances as possible from both teams, and so I think the in-season tournament helped with that a lot.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Well, shout out to the Lakers, man, winning that chip, and LeBron still doing his
Yeah.
thing. He's like a dinosaur. He's like a dinosaur now. So, but he's still dropping the bucket and still doing what he got to do. I actually have to really get more in tune with basketball. I haven't really watched basketball like that. I'm gonna be completely honest with the audience, be transparent. I don't really watch basketball when football season's going on because I focus in on just the Cowboys and that's all I care about. I could care, but I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan, so I do like the Spurs, and I kind of like Wimby. Him being I think that's the guy that Popovich kind of needs and wants for his team. But yeah, I don't really have any insight on the Lakers or anything like that. I had some notes, but Chris kind of covered everything when it comes to the Lakers and winning the in-season tournament. So I'm not even gonna falter on that. He did an excellent job covering that. You got anything else, bro, with the Lakers?
Nah. Shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to LeBron. It's amazing to see all these years later. I'm 29. LeBron has been doing this for what 21 years now. So most of
I
my
don't. How
lifetime.
how's that even possible?
It's amazing to see,
They
man. It's
gotta be
amazing.
taking steroids, bro.
Come on, man. I don't.
It has to
Nah, I'm
like
not going
it
for
gotta be.
that. I'm.
So, there's gonna be. I'm telling you. I'm not saying. This is all alleged. This is not. Nothing's
Of
true.
course, of
LeBron's
course,
not
of
taking
course.
steroids. It's all alleged. It's all a theory, a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, like, for him to be being this good for this long, never really having a major surgery or major issue ever. Like he's never torn anything. Even Kobe tore his Achilles. So for him to be playing this long at this level, being a starter, getting the same amount of minutes, playing different teams, traveling, and still averaging more than probably 20 points, 25, 30 points a game is insane. The guy, I'm telling you, there's going to be a documentary that come out 20 years later talking about the dark truth of LeBron and how he was taking steroids all his NBA career.
Nah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Nah.
I don't think that's going. I just think he really spends a lot of money on his body. He takes care of his body, and I think he's one of those athletes that has a work ethic that's probably unmatched. So, because if we can compare him to, like, let's say a Carmelo Anthony, they came in around the same time. They've been around the same guys, and you can see one career kind of flourished and went really well. Another career kind of did pretty well. Considered probably
Melo's
one of the
all-time great.
Yeah. But in regards of longevity and getting championships, LeBron's here, Melo's like down here.
Yeah. It's not even comparable.
No. But needless to say, moving on. Now we on the piece de resistance, talking about what we love, wrestling. All right. So right now, guys, we're gonna just talk about wrestling and what that means to us. So, Chris, I'll let you go first, bro. How did you get into wrestling? What made you get into wrestling?
Damn, that's crazy. I'm trying to think of what got me into wrestling. That's actually a great question. I think it might have been, I want to say, my uncle Wayne. So I used to go to my uncle's house and link up with my cousins. Shout out to my cousin Lee. Shout out to my cousin Quan. But I used to go over their house and watch wrestling all the time. And then, so I grew up an only child. Like, I grew up in the house by myself with me, just me and my mom and stuff. And so, like, from going over to their house and watching it at their house, it transitioned to me being at my mom's house and, like, me not wanting to be watching what she was watching. And so she got me a TV for my room. And I used to be in my room just watching wrestling. Like, and then I end up talking her into, like, buying me the toys and stuff. And I started going crazy with the toys. And so I ended up getting me, somehow I finessed her into, talking about finessing my mom, but somehow I finessed her into getting me a ring. So she got me the toy ring. And then I got a bunch of wrestling men. Like, I got, I'll name the names later because we're gonna get into our favorites and all that stuff. But I got a bunch of the toys and stuff, and so I used to just be in the house, like, watching it on the TV, reenacting it on the floor with the wrestling men, just going crazy, man. And then I talked her into getting me a belt, and so then I'm walking around with the belt. I had my original WWE Championship belt, man, and I was just hooked. Like, I was hooked from, like, early ages, man. Probably, like, damn, I want to say, like, 8, 9. Like, I was hooked in, and, like, it. I had my, like, my phases where I phased it out and then I came back to it, and it's like it's just always there, man. It's always there. What about you though? How you get into it? What got you started?
I think it was always in my family because my father loved wrestling. My father loved wrestling. Like, he was a big wrestling fan. His favorite wrestler was, like, Ultimate Warrior. Like, that was his favorite wrestler, like, back in the 80s. And like, him loving it, introducing my brother to it, and then introducing me to it. It kind of just was a thing, man. We watched wrestling every day. Like, I remember, like, growing up in New York and watching, like, Monday Night Raw and then Monday Night Nitro, because this is at the time when, like, both wrestling productions was on around the same time.
Yeah.
Then you watch Thursday Night SmackDown, when SmackDown used to come on Thursday. Sunday Night Heat, when like every wrestling promotion we watched, and then it just became like other family members watch wrestling. And we do like wrestling matches at the crib. We do like we do want to go in the basement, have the matches there, do the wrestling moves on one another. Like we went to my cousin's crib. They love wrestling. Like they had wrestling tours. We watched wrestling there. And it just became a thing of a routine, of a family outing, of like that's all we did was watch wrestling. And I would say like that's the one thing I do regret. Like when my father was here, and I was younger at the time when he passed, but we never took opportunity to go to an actual live event. Like I've been to a couple, but I would have loved to, like, if we had the money and time. Well, I don't even think we thought about ever going, but I wish we would have took opportunity to go to a live event. And I want to say like one of the things I do remember, because back then like we didn't really have money, we never really bought like the pay-per-views. So I think my dad had this WrestleMania. He had WrestleMania 2000 on bootleg, and I'll never forget. That's probably like one of my favorite WrestleManias, because I remember to this day. That's when they had Hardcore Holly, Crash Holly, Viscera, Mankind, and it was a big like battle royale, and it was my favorite match. It was my big hardcore match. They had APA, Farouk and Bradshaw, everybody, the Mean Street Posse, everybody, right? And it was the 24/7 hardcore match, and I'll never forget. It was the match where everybody was getting there. Like it's the funniest. That's probably the funniest wrestling match I've ever seen. Like that WrestleMania 2000 with that 24/7 hardcore match. That's probably I can watch that. I can literally watch that every day of my life. Like if that's the only wrestling match I want to watch that, because the hardcore hitting people with the instruments, boom, boom, boom. Like I love that. That's like one of my favorite things. But yeah, that's how I got into wrestling.
Dope, man. Yo, I remember like that used to be like the gut punch to my wrestling fandom as a kid. Was I could never get to watch the pay-per-views. Like it was
right,
under no circumstances was we paying for pay-per-views.
It was
so
expensive.
Like yeah, like, and so I literally would just just had to catch it. And then Monday Night Raw been on cable for so long that like we never had cable TV. So I could only watch like the Thursday night SmackDown and the Saturday night Heat joint. And so like, man, I used to be sick to my stomach that like I wouldn't know what had happened from like the pay-per-views and stuff. I would have to get caught up on the show when I'm watching the next week. Like it drove me crazy to the point where as an adult, like once I got older, like I made sure I knew the pay-per-view dates, because I was gonna make sure that I watched them pay-per-views, man. Like
100%,
once I started getting
100%.
cable and stuff, like I was like, man, I'm watching my pay-per-views, man. I'm gonna be caught up and in tune with everything that's going on these shows. Like I gotta be.
To keep it a beat, we didn't start watching pay-per-views. I want to say till probably when I was a sophomore, junior in high school, because that's when my parents had a little bit more money. And then I want to say my brother was working at the time, and he'd be like, "Yo, Ma, I'll pay for it." Back then, it was like $50, $50 for the pay-per-view. And it would only be the WrestleManias. It wasn't like Survivor Series or No Mercy or Judgment Day. It was the WrestleManias. That was it. Like that was the big showcase. So yeah, we didn't. And then they came out with what's the thing they come out with now? WWE Network. Then when WWE Network came out, it was like, bro, you don't need to buy anything now. $10 a month. You can watch any wrestling you want from any decade. But moving on, what's your favorite wrestling decade?
My favorite wrestling decade.
Yeah.
It's hard. So my favorite, and you might have to help me out in terms of what decade this is, but like my favorite era of wrestling is the Evolution era.
With Triple H and
with Triple
that's
H,
2000,
Randy,
2000.
Batista, Ric Flair, and then so on and so forth to the disbandment of Evolution
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
Batista's singles career,
yeah,
Eddie
yeah,
Guerrero,
yeah, yeah,
the Kurt Angle era,
yeah,
when
yeah.
Kurt was the biggest star in the
Pert,
world.
Kurt.
My
That man was an
man,
animal.
yo, crazy. Um, Undertaker era, like when Undertaker in his
Mm-hmm.
prime, though, like prime
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker era. Um, yeah, the 2000s era of WWF slash WWE wrestling when they
Yeah,
transitioned
yeah,
into WWE
yeah,
was like my all time favorite era, man. You got Undertaker on the bike, like it was, man, it was a time. You got Eddie in the lowrider, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
man, what
Character development
was
was the greatest back then.
yo, and the
So
wrestling was fire too. That's just back when
yes,
like
yes,
you you
yes.
you you got bloody faces on
Yep,
live TV. Like
yep, yep,
you got real smacks with trash cans
yep, yep,
and kendo sticks
yep.
and
Chairs to the head.
chairs to
Chair
the
right to
head,
the head.
real
Right to the head.
tables, like real
Yep,
actual tables that wasn't meant to be
yep,
breaking on people's human
yep,
bodies. Like
yep.
it was yo. And I appreciate the wrestlers of that era because I know their bodies went through hell for the entertainment of it, man. But the beginning 2000s up to the 2010s, man, was a special time for wrestling. What was your favorite, bro?
Yeah, that was that me, I would say like the 90s and the 2000s. Like, and
Okay.
I'm not talking about early 90s. I'm talking about late 90s, like from
Yeah.
96, 95, 96 to 2000, and then exactly like you said, 2000, 2010. Because that's when, I'm not going to go into this because we're going to answer this later, but yeah, that 90s and 2000s, bro, the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era for me, WWE was the best. That 20-year period from 95 to like, let's say 2000, 2005 to, 2015, that era from then was probably the greatest stretch of wrestling ever. I don't think there was a moment of like, oh, this wrestling was trash. Now that for me, that wrestling was the greatest.
Yo, so many great wrestlers from that time
Point
too,
blank
man.
period
Like
from transitioning from you had the three greatest stars in the 90s: Triple H, Stone Cold, Stone Cold, The Rock. Then transitioning to like, all right, who's up next? John Cena, Kurt Angle, a little bit of The Rock, still a little bit of The Rocks, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Edge. Like, it's mind blowing. Chris Jericho, mind blowing. Like, crazy. All right, but let's transition on. I don't want to get stuck on that. All right, favorite wrestler. You only
you
can
go
pick one.
first, man. You go first.
Shit, Randy Orton, hands down.
Randy Orton's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Randy Orton, bro.
You
Randy
gotta be
Orton,
feeling
bro.
good right now, then. The Viper is back. Apex Predator is
Bro,
back in the
yes,
building.
bro, Randy Orton, bro. I don't care what nobody says. Randy Orton is my favorite wrestler. Like I like The Rock and on the Stone Cold, but Randy Orton, bro, his character development from when he first came in to when he first came in, evolution, young kid coming in. Then he formed with Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes, the Legacy. Then he
Yeah.
became the Legend Killer, bro. His transition from what he was then to what he is now, probably the greatest development of a character, bro. He always changed to become better and better. Like in comparison to other characters, bro, I think Randy Orton has had the best stretch from his beginning as a WWE wrestler to even now coming back and still causing wreck, like still doing his thing. Like me, that he's my guy, bro. Like and he got one of the best finishers. I don't care what nobody says. His finisher, the RKO, out of nowhere, like
Yo,
bro,
it's
one of the best finishers, bro.
the quickest snap finisher that I've
Quick,
ever
bro,
seen.
and he can do it anywhere. He can do it off of you jumping off a top rope. He can do it
Yeah.
off you just getting up from the floor. He can do it anywhere he want to do it, bro. The best, one of the best. But go ahead, bro. I want to hear who your favorite is.
Man, my favorite of all time, and I had to think about this for real. But My favorite of all time, God rest his soul, is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie
Oh,
Guerrero
okay.
was
Oh, that's
my
a good one. That's a good
favorite.
one. That's a good one.
Like
That's a good one.
hands down. You talk about character development. You talk
Yeah.
about seeing somebody evolve and go through different phases of a
Yeah.
character. Like, yo, the highlight of my wrestling fandom was watching Eddie Guerrero win that WWE title, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it I was the happiest kid in the world because for some reason I just was vibing with that Latino heat. He had
Yeah.
the crowd, he had the people, like his energy was through the roof at all times, man. Like it genuinely like hurt me when
Yeah.
I got the news that Eddie had passed away, man. I remember going on YouTube for days and like, yo, like legit being sad as a kid, like legit being depressed, like watching all the tribute videos and everything,
Mm-hmm.
man. But Eddie's in-ring charisma, Eddie's wrestling skills, Eddie's like, uh, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
man, like, and his the way he incorporated his character with his wrestling was always cool to me. Like because
Yeah.
he never went out there and tried to pretend to be the best wrestler. He just tried to out finesse you. So like
Yeah.
he might trip up a referee might suddenly get knocked out in his match, and he
Yeah.
might go for a title, or he might throw you the belt and
Yeah.
make you look like you just hit him with the
Yeah.
title. Like
Yeah.
Eddie was the man for real. Like he he was a dope character, man. A dope character. Like I
Yeah.
said, God rest his soul, man.
Yeah. He's one of the wrestlers I do miss a lot because we didn't even get to see him at his prime yet. He was still a young in wrestling age. He passed when he was in his early 40s, late 30s. So he
He
was
was
a
in his
young
30s.
yeah, he was a young guy, man. And I don't think we seen him to his greatest height. Even though like at that time they was giving him a good push, he was getting to that point, and it's just
Yeah.
and he was becoming an actual face, and
Yeah.
it just passed away, man. And I think it was one of them talents where it's like I think if he was still here, even if he probably wouldn't have been wrestling, I think he still would have been involved in the company in some type of fashion.
Yo,
Whether
and you
it's
can
like
see it every like to me when I watch it now, like it's just so obvious that that presence of Eddie is always still in WWE
oh
because
yeah,
like
oh yeah, oh
you know
yeah,
they try and remake his character and different characters now and
yeah,
stuff like that, and so like I agree with you that like you know, if we were like fortunate enough to still have him with us, that he would definitely still have a role in WWE
yeah,
because you can just see how you know they're trying to find the next Eddie. Like they're still looking
yeah,
for the next
yeah.
Eddie or who's going to be
Now
able to
he
resemble Eddie.
now he had a charisma. He had a good presence, and he had pretty good mic skills too. And
Yeah,
he came from a strong lineage of wrestlers, like that luchador background, bro. A lot of people don't
yeah,
remember that. He started off as a luchador, then
hmm
transitioned into more like he was a high flyer. Then he became like, all right, we're gonna put you in with heavyweight. So you got a lot of these guys, man. When they come in, like you got to remember WCW days. He was a cruiserweight. He
yeah,
was battling all the cruiserweights, facing Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, and all them guys in WCW. And then now, when he got to the big leagues, he's facing John Cena, JBL, all the other heavyweights, bro. So that takes a lot, man. It takes a lot. That takes a lot of growth to do that. All right,
agree.
moving on. All right, give me your top 5 best on the mic when it comes to promos, just mic skills. Who's your top 5?
Top 5 on the mic.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Eddie.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna go John Cena.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Stone Cold.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna go Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Hey, you cannot forget Will is still and Dylan, man. Can't forget my guy.
I'm gonna go Nature Boy. Damn, I need a fifth one. And number 5. Who am I forgetting that's real good on the mic? I I'm blanking, so I'll just go Roman Reigns because I can't think of a fifth one right now.
Roman Reigns, what he just got good on the mic, man.
I mean,
He
listen,
ran.
He's the tribal chief.
Yeah, he is. But remember when he came into they ain't never gave him a speaking role when he came into
he didn't talk at all.
He couldn't talk.
He didn't talk at all.
He had like he was like what was that dude's name that came into the league in WWE for a little bit? Ryback. He was like Ryback.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to talk neither, so he was like the next Goldberg. But for me, I'm gonna do Ric Flair.
Got to
Triple H.
I thought about Triple H.
The Rock. Yeah, The Rock, Randy Orton, and Chris Jericho.
I like that list.
When it comes to the mic, Chris Jericho, bro, come on, bro. I say what? I tell you this: The Rock mic skills in the late '90s and early 2000s was untouchable. Man, his stuff was crazy.
It's why he is who he is today. For real.
His comeback, whatever, everything he did was funny. Now, Ric Flair, if you just type in Ric Flair greatest promos, I lie to you not, you're going to sit there and be in awe how great this man was when it came to promoting.
Man, let me take Roman Reigns out and put Shawn Michaels in there. Michaels
there you go. Shawn Michaels is good too.
Great on the mic, man.
But I'll say this, right? If you ever watch TNA, there's a good thing to look up if when you get time. Look up, and I'm telling this audience, look up promo Ric Flair versus Jay Lethal. That promo, funniest thing ever. Because Jay Lethal, TNA, Jay Lethal comes out. No, this is back when AJ Styles and everybody was on TNA. Like this is back when TNA
back in the day.
This is back when TNA was lit. When everybody was on TNA, Booker T, Sting, everybody was on TNA. TNA was actually like, this is when WWE was kind of concerned because it's like, oh my God, TNA. Like when TNA used to come on Monday
before they got Kurt.
This might have been right between that time because I think they were all there around the same time. So I think this is when, if I'm not mistaken, Ric Flair was running with AJ Styles, Beer Money, all these guys. They had their own little faction, and Jay Lethal comes out, and everybody know Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal was really good at impersonation. He got some good mic skills as well. So Ric Flair comes out, then Jay Lethal comes out impersonating Ric Flair. So they just having a back and forth. I'm telling you, audience, please look up Jay Lethal versus Ric Flair. You're not gonna be disappointed. It's the funniest promo. And just to give some background to it, Ric Flair doesn't rehearse his promos. He don't write nothing down, and he don't rehearse his promos. He go out there straight off the top of the head. Like he doesn't. And then if you're doing a promo with him, if you're another wrestler, and you say, "Hey Rick, how we gonna do this promo?" He said, "We're gonna do how we gonna do it. Make something up. We're gonna do it. Follow my lead." And that's it. So that whole time, that promo, Jay Lethal didn't know how Ric Flair was gonna respond because they didn't rehearse it. It wasn't a rehearsed promo, so they didn't know how that shit was gonna go. But that's just a little taste of that.
I got to check it out.
Please check that out, bro. I'm telling you, Jay Lethal and Ric Flair promo. I'm telling you,
top five
in the ring performers.
Top 5 in the ring performers. I'm definitely gonna go John Cena again.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna go to Rock.
Okay.
Top 5 in-ring performers. John Cena, The Rock. I'm a little bit biased. I'm gonna go Rey Mysterio.
Okay, that's a good one.
Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle.
Yes.
Kurt Angle and Batista.
Okay, all right, good. Our list is pretty similar. I put John Cena, Undertaker, The Rock, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle. I actually, my honorable mention was Rey Mysterio. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was gonna add him, but then I'm like, I'm gonna miss some guys. Okay, all right. So now we're gonna focus on tag team. So who you got as the best tag team?
The best tag team?
Yeah, I put 3. You can put your top 3 tag teams. Who's your top 3?
Damn, I had some favorites. So I gotta go to Dudley's, the Dudley Boys. Devon and Bubba Ray Dudley. I I gotta go to Guerrero, so I gotta go
Okay.
Eddie and Chavo.
Okay.
And then I gotta go to Hardy Boys, Matt and
Yes.
Jeff.
Okay. All right. So our list is pretty same on that one. I got Hardy Boys as well. You know, the little like that little shit. I put New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Ass.
Okay.
And I put the Usos on there.
The
Usos.
Usos.
Yeah, I gotta put them on, bro. I think they had the record for the longest tag team championship, so I gotta put them on there.
They did. Yep.
So, and I will say honorable mention. I'll say, Brothers Destruction. That's what it was with Kane and Undertaker.
Oh man,
I'll give them honorable mention, bro. And then I will say the tag team with Edge and Randy Orton, Rated RKO. I'll give them an honorable mention as well.
Yeah, that was a good tag team.
Okay, and what's your favorite promotion? Favorite wrestling brand?
I gotta go with the Worldwide Entertainment, man.
Yeah.
Like
Same here.
It's just the most consistent. I mean, I know it's not always great.
Yeah.
And I know they have their down periods. I was just watching them on YouTube earlier, man. They had some down years, man.
Bro,
But
what?
like it was some bad years where it was just hard to keep your focus. But that most consistent brand. They're not going anywhere. You can always count on them. They've expanded on their brand, which is always dope to see when all these other companies kind of end up fizzling out over time. I will say, man, like you had mentioned, for a while it looked like TNA was gonna give them a strong push, man. I remember that era of watching TNA wrestling, and I can't remember what day it came on, if it came on Monday or Tuesday, but
Monday. You gotta remember it, right?
Yeah,
because
thank you.
It came on Monday because I remember it was like, I think I want to say 2010, 2011, around that time.
Yes.
When that's when Hulk Hogan came in, and they was like, "Yo, we're gonna do Monday nights. We're gonna compete with WWE." And I want to say for a year or like 6, they was neck and neck.
Yeah, they were.
TNA was putting on some good matches, and they had some, TNA at one time. I want to say their talent was pretty impeccable.
A lot of
their roster was
not
pretty
a lot
nice,
of
bro.
WWE talent, but the heavy hitters from TNA are in WWE now. You know what I mean?
And then you had exactly, like Samoa Joe. Well, Samoa Joe was with WWE. I think he's AEW.
He's with AEW now.
So Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and then they had Rick Rude.
R-Truth was over there.
R-Truth was over. R-Truth been everywhere. That man still look young, but he like damn near 70 years old. He's probably the oldest wrestler in history.
It's crazy.
He still got a 6-pack. I'm like, how's that even possible? But yeah, bro, like I agree with you. I think WWE for me as well. Probably one of my favorite promotions. I can't really think of another one. I never really watched New Japan Pro Wrestling. Never really watched. I still haven't watched AEW like that. I heard AEW was pretty okay. TNA I used to watch a lot. Back when it had that competition streak, when Jeff Jarrett owned the company, and like I watched it during that time. I think really watched.
He's with WWE now.
Yeah, I never really watched Ring of Honor. And Ring of Honor has some dope people on there for a good minute. Yeah, there's a lot of wrestling. There's a good amount of wrestling promotions out there, but they're small and like you're not really gonna watch them. Like I don't know if you've seen that documentary on Netflix, but it was like a wrestling documentary, and they had a small promotion out of like, I think Ohio Valley Wrestling. That's what it is. Ohio Valley Wrestling. That's the wrestling company that like Batista came out of, John Cena came out of there, Brock Lesnar came out of there. They used to be a developmental group for WWE, like way back in the day. But they have their own little independent wrestling promotion, and Al Snow runs it. Remember Al Snow? He runs that company. He runs the company. He's like the manager now.
Dope.
But yeah, I never watched it. Yeah, bro. I mean, that's it. You have any current wrestling news, or you want to tell the audience about who they should keep their eye on when it comes to wrestling, or why they should get into wrestling?
Man, probably no nobody to keep your eye on right now, as far as up and comers anyway, I should
Yeah,
say. Although I will say that the storyline right now, if you're not in tune, the storyline right now is really, really dope.
yeah,
With the return of certain legends that have come back.
yeah.
Like we mentioned, Randy Orton just came back recently. So it's dope to see the Legend Killer back. CM
Yes.
Punk recently came back to the WWE after being gone for I want to say a good decade. I think
Yeah.
10
10,
years he
10,
was
10
gone
years.
from the WWE. So CM Punk is back, exclusively signed to Raw. So the storyline is getting dope with the Royal Rumble being right around the corner. You know, the Royal Rumble gives you a chance to headline WrestleMania.
Right.
Not to mention you still got again, for those who aren't in tune, you still got a guy like Damian Priest. So I guess if I
Mm.
would say somebody to look out for, maybe Damian Priest. Um, he was the winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match, so he currently holds the Money in the Bank contract, which is
Hmm.
always a wild card at any point in time. You never know when he's going to cash in. He's also got the faction of the Judgment Day behind him, so
Hmm.
he's got a squad of guys behind him that'll probably ensure that he wins a world championship at some point in the near future. Um, so it's something to look out for from I guess a Monday Night Raw
Right.
standpoint, and then like I said, Randy Orton being back in the WWE on SmackDown, looking to get up with Roman Reigns and the
Yes.
Bloodline
Yes.
for putting him on the
Yes.
shelf.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really
I can't
fun
wait to watch my boy
time,
back in action. I cannot wait.
bruh, man. Yo, I watched War Games when he came back, so
Yeah.
I was super excited. Like I had been getting all the hints and stuff that he was
Yeah.
coming back. It was dope to finally get him back, and it's gonna be exciting to see where they take it over these next couple months with this storyline, because obviously the revenge factor is gonna be huge. Roman Reigns is the longest reigning modern day champion in
Yeah.
history,
Yep. Yep.
so.
Real. I think what really needs to happen. And to be honest, like I didn't know Randy was coming back. Like when I went out, because my brother still follows wrestling, because I kind of fell off. But he was telling me like he had took some time off because he had an injury, like he had like a back
He had a
injury or
real
something like that.
injury,
Like
yeah.
he had to go get that taken care of, so they never knew he was gonna come back. But I will say, I would not mind because Roman has the title right now, right?
Hmm.
And John Cena's back as well, right?
That came and went.
Oh, so he's not back.
Nah, I mean he was back. I don't know if they still plan on having him come back or doing
Yeah.
some stuff, but he was on a crazy losing streak, and then Roman Reigns' cousin kind of got him out of here.
I would not be opposed to a triple threat match with Roman, John Cena, and Randy Orton.
I'm,
I would not be opposed to that.
I don't think John
I would
Cena
not.
has the cachet at this point.
Nah, I think his name. I think it's like because he's been going back like it's like the Rock factor. He has the Rock factor now because he's going back acting, coming back. He's losing weight. He's not the same
Yeah,
big guy like he was, so he's changing. He got a whole new hairdo and all that. Like, so I think it's hard for him to continue to come back and play John Cena WWE because he's playing John Cena, all these other characters
in
in real life.
Hollywood. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think that's a little hard on him. But I would not be opposed to a triple threat match with John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton for the title.
now
I
I
would
say
not be
this.
opposed. I would not be opposed to that. Or a
I'm
triple threat match with someone else that is either up and coming or is someone that's like I would say like a Damian Priest, but on the SmackDown roster. Do they have somebody like that?
I think that's the problem with SmackDown's roster is they don't really have anybody up and coming
See, that's
that's
a
of
problem.
interest. Yeah, it is a problem. They got to figure that out on SmackDown. Randy Orton is kind of saving them and giving Roman Reigns a reason to have a storyline right now,
Yeah,
because they don't really have much of a storyline for Roman Reigns other than he's just the longest reigning champion of all
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Um, but what I will say is he's got enough enemies, and the Bloodline have enough enemies to where I wouldn't necessarily. I I don't want to see John Cena wrestle anymore based on what I've seen recently. I can do without him wrestling. But what I will say is I wouldn't mind a singles match between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton, because you know that there's going to be the factor of the bloodline involved in it.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be
if
some
you
type
can
of
get interferences from John
yeah.
Cena, from Matt Riddle, from Jay Uso from the other show, from Cody Rhodes, all making sure that Randy beats
Oh yeah,
Roman Reigns.
Cody.
Yeah.
And then they
Now
can
I'm
set up a tag match. Then they can set up a tag team
now
match.
now I'm in. Now I'm in.
Okay, all right, that makes
Now
sense.
I'm
That
in.
makes sense. I actually like that idea. I
So
actually like that
yeah.
idea a lot. I would actually prefer a tag team match with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns or somebody from the bloodline. I would actually entertain that.
Yep, Roman
Yeah,
and
that would actually make
Roman and
sense.
Solo. I can see it. I can
Yeah,
see it.
that would actually make a lot of sense.
So
Yeah, I like
yeah, I
that a
mean,
lot.
I like the idea of Randy getting his get back on the
Yeah,
bloodline. Um, I do think that SmackDown's got to figure it out in terms of young talent. They got to figure that out, but
yeah.
that'll be that. They got enough experience to make
They
this
got enough
show still
veterans. They got
interesting.
enough veterans to do that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll
And
see. We'll see, man.
speaking of the women wrestlers, like WWE, their women roster has really been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I'm not talking about just looks, like I'm talking about talent. And I think with the addition of Jade Cargill, I know they haven't really utilized her yet. But I think with the addition of her, Bianca Belair, I know Charlotte Flair is out. She just got injured. I think WWE's women's talent roster is amazing. But I think they
Right.
just gotta utilize Jade, man. They gotta put her in action. I don't know what the hell they're doing with her. Y'all
I don't know
acquired
what they're
y'all
doing either.
like I don't understand. Like y'all acquired from AEW, where AEW she was a star in AEW. She wasn't trash. She was
Yeah.
big money at AEW, and then y'all bring her over here, and then I'm
And
like,
paid her
oh,
big money over to come
and
over here.
I'm like, all right, when y'all gonna utilize her? Like the match need to be Bianca and Jade. Like that's what it needs to be. You don't need
Has
to
she
be.
been on a card yet? I don't. She
No,
hasn't.
no,
Yeah.
no, bro. I don't know what I don't know what they're saving her for. I don't know, but I know with Charlotte being out, like what are we doing? And she gonna be out
Nah.
for a minute because she got a serious injury.
Did she really?
Yeah, I think she must have tore something or something like that. When I
Oh
was seeing
shit!
Bleacher News, oh, she's gonna be out for a minute.
Damn.
And is Becky Lynch still wrestling? Is she still there?
Yeah. I
So
think
they
she on
need
Monday nights though. I
we
think
need
she
to
is.
they need to figure something out, man, because they need to get this talent in order. Like
Yeah, I've been waiting to see her for a while. I've been waiting to see
yeah,
Jade.
that's what I'm saying,
I've been dying to know what's happening with her. It's
bro.
just been
Because
quiet though. It's just been real quiet.
because I thought Bianca had a good physique. Jade's physique is crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, she looks strong as hell. I thought Bianca would look strong. Bro, when I seen Jade on AEW, I was like, wow. She has abs on top of abs.
Nah,
Bro, it's
seriously.
crazy, bro. It's crazy,
Seriously.
bro. Like I think because you know how we grew up, when I used to watch wrestling with my father, it was so funny. When we watch wrestling, right? Like when the women would come on and wrestle, he'd be like, forget about it. Because you gotta remember back then in the 90s, like women wrestling wasn't really like it wasn't really top class as it is now. Like it was just like some eye candy. Like you would look and be like, okay, like that's something to look at. Even if you're talking about the attitude there, oh, that thing was crazy. And then you get into ruthless aggression, bra and panty matches. Like so, it wasn't really a thing.
I
It
forgot
wasn't.
about the Brian
Yeah,
Panty
like
matches.
it wasn't until like I want to say like the 2010s when like Brie Bella and them came out and like they
Yeah.
actually had some talent come in, and now women's wrestling is actually like it's actually dope. And then you have Ronda Rousey, but they got her out of there because she couldn't deal with the
She be on and out. She be
with
on
the
and out.
schedule. But
You know how
she with AEW now.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's not with WWE no more. She with AEW.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, I did not know
They
that.
I forget who talked about it. I want to say one of the female wrestlers. They was talking about like she couldn't deal with the schedule, like she couldn't deal with the rigorous schedule of WWE. Like and even though she didn't have to travel too much, she still couldn't deal with that. She was like, I can't do that. I can't deal with that.
As if what does AEW not travel? Are they like a house show or something?
I want to say I think AEW is based out of Jacksonville, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they travel. I don't even think they travel like that, to be honest. And they got a little bit more freedom over there because they contractors. you know, if you WWE, you stuck there until
Yeah.
you can't go nowhere. I think with AEW, you can still like travel and wrestle in another promotion, if it's not a direct competitor. Like you can't. I don't think you can do with WWE, but you could most likely go to like New Japan Wrestling and go wrestle New Japan Wrestling, and it won't interfere.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you don't remember.
I'm not as hip on the AEW.
Yeah, you don't remember when Chris Jericho he was wrestling Kenny Omega, New Japan Wrestling. He was with AEW at the same time, so he was able to fight Kenny Omega on New Japan Wrestling. It didn't interfere with his contract.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, AEW is on some stuff, man. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, bro. But I'm gonna be honest, bro. I thought when Sasha Banks left, and I thought the women's division was over, bro. Because at the time she was carrying that joint. She was carrying it, and then when she left, I'm like, oh, that's. But then it was like, nah, we don't give a damn about her.
They got so much female talent.
We can find another woman, and then they found a black woman, a darker woman, to come in there and really do her thing, Bianca Belair. So shout out to
Bianca,
her,
man.
She's one of the best. She's one of the best.
Easily.
WWE, please set it up, Bianca. Jade Cargill, WrestleMania for the women's title. Set it up.
I think it's gonna happen. I think. Like, who is the women's champion right now? Bianca's not women's champion right now, is she?
I don't even. Shit, where's my phone? Oh, hold on, let me check that real quick. Yeah. Because who's women's champion? Oh,
Io Sky.
Rhea Ripley. Okay.
Yeah.
I like Rhea Ripley, actually.
I love Rhea Ripley. I
like her. I like her. I remember she did an interview. I fell in love with her. She was like, because she married. She told her husband, yeah, she's married. She told her husband, she was like, yo, she was like, I love you, my husband. Well, what I do in wrestling, that's like my separate life. And it's her and Dominic Mysterio. So
yeah,
she's like, I love Dominic. Like, that's my boy. I love him. And I was like, after that, I fell in love with her. I was like, I love you, Rhea Ripley.
That's the interview that made you fall in love with her. That's
bro. Because if you watch her from the beginning of her career, how she changed, bro. When she don't have all that makeup on, she's actually a really attractive woman.
Yeah, I did. I watched the evolution of her career in one of them little YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
It's been dope to see the transition, though, because you would have, from the beginning of her career, I don't think people would have seen this type of character from her.
Because she started off as a babyface. Now she's a heel, so I would have never thought that.
Yeah, exactly.
I never thought that.
But it's been dope to see, and I like her character development, too, man. I think she's running the women's division right now. From the WWE perspective, anyway. I love Bianca too, obviously, but I don't think Bianca's held a belt in a little while. So
it's been a while. And then I think now she got some show with her and her husband Montez Ford. They about to have a reality show on Hulu. So when they start doing stuff like that, they don't really keep belts on people like that when they start doing that.
Nah,
because if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but I know that. If you're a WWE superstar and you go ahead and do a reality show, WWE gets a piece of that. They get a good amount. They get a good chunk of that.
Probably. They probably mandated to be producers on the show or something.
Absolutely. But yeah, wow, man, this was a great conversation about freaking wrestling, man. I fucking love it, dude. I love it.
Nah, I love it too, man. Yo. If this doesn't make you want at least intrigued enough to want to go check out one of the shows throughout the week, WWE. I mean, WWE is almost like the NFL in the way that the NFL controls your week. Like wrestling will take up a good majority of your week if you just let it sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You got Monday, you got NXT in the middle of the week if you're interested in some up and coming wrestlers, and you got Friday. Maybe you get a pay-per-view throughout the month, so, and then like Matt said, if you got WWE Network, you can binge. Like you can literally
it's not binge. WWE Network no more. It's on Peacock now. So if you got
it's on
Peacock,
Peacock.
it's on Peacock. If you got Peacock, because they bought the streaming rights to WWE Network. So if you got Peacock, you can subscribe to Peacock, and then you pay I think Peacock like $4.99. You pay an additional like $5.99. Then you can get WWE, all the WWE, everything WWE, the old matches. Like I think a lot of people, what they don't realize is WWE's catalog is so vast. It contains ECW, WCW, NWA, all the old time matches. So it contains a lot of catalog. So even if you don't, and it contains some really good documentaries too, like about the Undertaker, Stone Cold, Mankind, John Cena, The Rock. It has everything you can think of. It has it on there, and I encourage everybody to really take a look at WWE's catalog and just their what they have, and also just to remind people, WWE World Wrestling Entertainment is not fake. It's not a fake thing. People actually get hurt doing this, and they actually get injured.
I don't even
What's
like
fake
when people
about
say
it
that.
is, yeah. What's now I'm not gonna say fake, but what's already understood about the sport is they already have a predetermined winner of it. So it's not like it's a battle to the death. No, they know who's gonna win and they know who's gonna beat. It's up to the superstars to create a good enough match to where the audience doesn't even know who's gonna win because it's such a good match. It's such a great match. So I would encourage people to not say wrestling's fake. It's not fake. It's just it's not really choreographed because they don't really have time to rehearse their matches. It's pretty much on the spot. But it's something where it's an art form. It's beautiful. It takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of heroics to do, and it's very entertaining. And we both love it. We're both avid wrestling fans. So just please, wrestling's not fake. It's just something that has a predetermined outcome.
And there you have it, man. Literally.
Yeah, there you have it.
Literally. It's been a great episode.
Yes.
Yo, like we said, man, if this isn't enough to pique your interest, then it might not be for you, which is okay, which is all good. But nonetheless, we hope you enjoyed the wrestling conversation.
Yes.
Because this was something that we really just wanted to do. It's not a current event. Nobody asked us to do anything about or talk about wrestling today. We just, we big wrestling fans, and so we wanted to express our appreciation for the sport that we grew up on, that we still love to this day.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, bro?
Nah, no final thoughts. Peace and love to all y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Absolutely. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Turn on the post notifications as always if you haven't already. And this has been another episode of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast. We out.
Peace.